Alrighty, my name is Chris Winners, and welcome to the kallzu SEO coaching, or kallzu organic coaching call. Today is February 12th, 2017, and we have a lot of members on the call. I appreciate that, you taking your time out. My sole goal here is to add as much value as I possibly can for you during our time together. So I've got a lot of stuff pre-planned, and then we'll end it up with some questions and answers towards the end. So today, this is what we're going to be covering on here. I'm going to continue my live case study. There's been some important updates to it, even from, I think it was last Sunday. I'm not quite sure, but I know it wasn't that long ago. There's been some updates to it. But my whole goal here is for you to kind of see how this can evolve and grow. As a company, we have over 3,500 pages ranking on page 1 across 2 main niches. And now we're really starting a third one. And you get to see how this kind of starts and the timeline and stuff like that. So that's my end goal with this. Anyways, we'll get to that later on here. And then I really want to talk to you too about, there's so many, there's a lot of really good training out there, courses you can buy on all types of different subjects, matters out there. Whether you want to learn Photoshop, or you want to learn programming or coding, or you want to learn like a pay-per-call business, like what I'm teaching on here. All that stuff there's a lot of good training out there. But all of it, in my opinion, and I think you'll kind of realize that from maybe my last coaching call and even all previous ones, none of them teach you how to actually operate a business. There's a huge mindset from going from an employee to a business owner. It is literally like night and day, and the struggles that people have going from one mindset to another is real. And so I want to, every time we do these coaching calls, I want to cover different aspects of that. And these are things lessons and stuff I've learned because I've had to go through that. It's very similar to someone who's, 25, 35, 40 years old, and they've always been 50 or 60 pounds overweight, and then all of a sudden they want to lose that weight. There's a lot of unprogramming and resetting that needs to go on in order for that, for that person to lose that extra weight on here. The same thing with the business on this end of it. So, why work harder? I'm going to get into that. It's bad advice, and I'm not going to say something cutesy like don't work harder, work smarter. That's a bunch of baloney. So we'll get into that. I want to share too also the top rookie mistake when hiring a VA. I'm going to go into a little bit of details and reference some past calls that I've done in how to hire your dream team. And really why you must build one. I'll get into that in detail here. And I want to cover, because I didn't cover in as much thorough detail as I wanted to on the last coaching call, and that's our third source of really unlimited backlinks, and we'll help you get those as well as obviously the private blog networks and the Web 2.0s. And then you've really got all your bases covered at that point. So what else do we got here? And then I want to, towards the end here, dispel the myth of niche-related backlinks. And I'm going to go over, I think I've prepared for you 2 different websites, and we're going to look at the backlinks of them. Both of them are competitive niches. And we're going to see the sources of the backlinks. Where are they from? Are they from the niche related or not? So if you want to, if you want to be successful, you study other businesses that are successful and other people. And so we're just going to study these 2 websites. They're highly successful. You'll recognize them when you see them. And we'll take a look at their top backlinks through my commercial account with Majestic. And we'll actually look at the backlinks and we'll go visit the sites. And we'll see, surprisingly, they have nothing to do with the niche. I want to also kind of clear some confusion here. So kallzu has grown, and kallzu has 3 different training courses. So I want to go over that because sometimes when we get, we've been getting support tickets that come in and there's some confusion there. So I just kind of want to draw that up. and then we'll get into the case studies and stuff. So kallzu, which is what I started 6 years ago, really it was just my pay-per-call business using purely SEO. The majority of you on this call are probably from kallzu SEO. Master domain site, unlimited private blog network domains, yada yada. That's what we do. And then there is kallzu ads, and this is the paid way to do this. And William runs this, and he also runs, and he's head of the kallzu paid ads on that. So you can have, you should consider having and diversifying your business and having not just one source of income and or one source of traffic, but two sources. I'll talk a little bit about that. And then the third one, which just kind of seems out of place, but it's really not, is kallzu ecom. I got into ecom not directly as somebody from scratch, but because I've been fortunate enough through my kallzu and pay-per-call business to have extra income, and I was looking for a place to invest that, and I didn't want to invest in stocks, and I just don't trust that kind of stuff. And I'm not a big one on real estate. So, but I'm a big one on business. I like business, especially online businesses. And so, through some of the talks that I've done from my friends and colleagues and places around the world, both on KPI, key performance indicators, and also on legally paying zero or close to zero taxes on your businesses, and I stress legally. I got to speak in front of audiences of people who have very successful e-com and Amazon, Shopify type stores. And I quickly discovered after I got done speaking and then hanging out afterwards and talking with some of the merchants that a lot of them are struggling, even though they might be selling $50,000 or even $100,000 or $250,000 in total gross revenue per month. They've only gotten there because they've been able to grow only because they've taken the bare minimum profit, and they have to continuously feed the cost of inventory and growing inventory and sometimes paid advertising. And they can grow, but it's like when you have a really successful store and everything's been growing for a year or more, and you can just see it, and you know that they could sell 5 times as much per month, 10 times, 20 times as much. The only thing that's holding them back is they don't have enough money for the inventory, and to hold that inventory over for like 4 to 8 weeks. This is a huge problem with very successful e-com businesses. And so I discovered that, invested in a few as 51% owner, moved it offshore to Hong Kong, and so I do that. And then, this is not a course about investing in that. A friend of mine contacted me, and he said, as a lot of do, and said, "Hey, I'm getting tired of my job, blah, blah, blah. What can I do online?" I get these kind of emails all the time, and I'm telling you that 99.99% do Zippo with it. But I'm just going to park that story. I'll get to it in a minute. I realize I'm going off on a tangent. So let me just go over this really quickly on here, just to clarify what is the differences here. kallzu SEO, which is about building a master domain site. We're ranking in 300 to 400 cities. The key with this strategy is not like we're just trying to rank in one city or 2 cities and we're just putting everything into it. No, that's not it at all. We're just blanketing the United States preferably. And you can do this from anywhere in the world, right? I mean, mind you, I'm in Spain. My entire staff does not live in Europe or in the U.S., yet 80% of our business comes from the U.S. Okay, so you do not need to be there to do this. I remind you, this is the World Wide Web, okay? And I've gone over this stuff before, and it's in the course. The Porta Potty, there's Mr. Handyman, there's many others out there that are ranking in hundreds and hundreds of cities, the vast majority of them without any backlinks whatsoever. And anyways, And then we go over on that how you take one like 800 word plus seed article and you spin it in a very special way. I go through that step by step how to do that, and then you use that for all your city pages, and Google loves it. For the calls that you're getting from your site to a local business owner using our kallzu software, and you collect the money on that. And we basically have 3 types of backlinks that we use. Most of your cities, especially the smaller ones, won't need any backlinks, as I've already shown in previous calls and in the course as well. But so far we have the private blog networks. You get unlimited of those, Web 2.0s, unlimited, and then the third source, which I'll present later on today. And you'll also get those from us as well. You'll find out. They're really cool. Now the kallzu ads, like hopefully the name states, it's about paid advertising. And we use Google AdWords pay-per-call, not pay-per-click. There's a huge difference. Google AdWords pay-per-click has been around for years. Pay-per-call has actually been around for 4 years. It's just that like nobody knows about it, okay? And it's perfect for the business that I'm in and you're in as well, right? Google AdWords pay-per-call, which I'm going to demonstrate in here in a second, costs about 80% less than a click. It's crazy, but I'll show you why in a minute. You'll see. And really, SEO, it's kind of slow and steady. It's like driving a big cruise ship. You're not going to be able to turn really fast. You're not going to be able to accelerate or slow down fast. Everything's got to be very well planned out, and it'll get there, but it's going to take a while. Paid traffic is like a Ferrari. It's going to get you there. It's right when you want to start, man, it's going to go. And I think it's a good idea eventually. I don't want to confuse anybody. If you're just starting out, just continue your course right now. But eventually, it only makes smart business sense to diversify your income by adding a couple of different sources of traffic. Not solely depending on SEO, and also not solely depending on just paid traffic, but having both of those come in here. It's about diversity, and this is only diversity buying 2 times. It's not asking for much. You should really consider that. Google AdWords is really cool because let's see. Oh, got this. There we go. I had that slide in there twice. Apologize. So this is for termite control. That's the keyword, termite control. And the top number there, you see there, just $33.13. That's the cost. I think it's for Phoenix, but it would be pretty much around $30 for any major city in the U.S. for the keyword termite control. Now, the average termite control job is going to be, depending on the size of the house and how infested the house is, it's going to be a minimum of $1,500, a bare minimum, but well in the range of around $3,000 US. So that's what drives these prices up. So to pay $33 for a click is not that much compared to what you can get if you get the job, right? Well, Google's pay-per-call is just $3.50 for a call. Okay? Far cheaper, but it's actually a lot cheaper. So let me ask you a question. Put it in the chat box in here and let me know how many clicks on average, if you were running a Google AdWords pay-per-click, how many clicks on the ad does it take to get that one phone call? Because as a pest control company, you need a phone call in order to talk to a customer to close the business, right? It's an offline business. It's not an online where they order online. That's not the way it operates. They operate by people calling them. So how many clicks do you think on average that if a pest control company out there is advertising for that keyword, how many clicks before they actually get a call? Because they're just getting clicks. They don't get any business until they get a call. And when they get a call, it's not a guaranteed business. It's just that's their guaranteed opportunity to close a client. Okay, so we have some pretty good guesses in there. The average actually is quite higher. I'm just going to be very conservative and say 4 clicks on average before one of them decides to click and call. Okay, that's just the way people shop. It's actually much higher than that, but I want to be very conservative on that. So if you take that pest control, it's $33 a click times 4, it's $132 that an average pest control company will have to pay in order to get a call, to get the opportunity to speak to a client and hopefully close them. There's no guarantee that they will, right? Now you compare that to the same platform, the exact same criteria. You can narrow it down by zip code. You can say the calls will start at 9 a.m. and end at 5 p.m. There will be no calls on the weekends, blah, blah, blah. You can target it just like you could target a race car. You just drive that thing around, you stop on a dime and take off and take a sharp left. You can do the same thing here, but it's a fraction of the cost. So I think you can see the incredible opportunity here. When something is costing you only $3.50 a call, the end user is used to paying far more than that. And you come in and say, well, you know what, we'll charge you $20 per call. They're going to jump all over that. So it's a fantastic thing on this end of it. That's not just the pest control. I could give hundreds of examples here. This is the only other one I'll give right now. This is for DOI attorney. As anybody knows, any kind of attorney or car accident, they're all $100 a click. And they take 3 or 4 clicks, 5 clicks, 6 clicks to actually get a phone call. And even then, it's not guaranteed they're going to close the deal, right? They still got to close the customer at that point. This is $134 for a DOI attorney. For a call, it's only $14. An absolute steal on here. Most DOI attorneys are paying $300, $400, $500 in advertising costs to get one client. That's why they have to charge so much. All right, what do we got here? Okay. So I just want to. A lot of people have worries about AdWords, pay-per-click. You just need this super ugly site on here, and customers are completely optional with AdWords as well. This is an actual site that William and I use for AdWords. This is for a pest control niche. That's the site. It's super ugly. No human's going to look at it, and there's no quality control on it, unlike pay-per-click. It just has to have some kind of words with your keywords in there. 2 images, so you see the 2 images there. And this particular landing page is targeting bees nests. Okay, it's really that simple. And then if I wanted to target termite, I would simply just change out the word bees nest for termite, and termite a couple of times in the body, which you can see there is like less than 200 words. I'd keep the same images. It's literally that simple because it's a call. And I said customers are optional. You don't have to do customers because there are affiliate programs that you can do, pay-per-click affiliates, and they just pay you for the click on here. And these are some students on here that have done this. This is in one day, by the way, $327. This is another one, day one, brand new, $77 and $66. You'll make more money delivering it directly to the offline business, but there's more responsibility with that. There's just a little options there. Some of you may not have been aware of it. Some of you may already belong to this program, and maybe you're on here to learn more about our SEO. Either way, eventually the 2 paths should coincide within your business plan. You should have both an SEO and add a second traffic source on here. Don't take too much on at one time. E-com, this is completely different. I gave a little bit of backdrop earlier about it, but I just want to clarify this stuff. This is completely different, and it requires no website, no SEO, no paid ads. It's just like anybody can do this. You literally just need a smartphone. That's it. And it's Amazon arbitrage on here. You can do this in, there's only a few countries you can do this in: the US, the UK, Australia, Canada, and basically anywhere in the European Union will also work as well. We have successful students all over there. And this is actually today's screenshot that my student I was telling you about like I said, I got lots of friends that contact me and say, hey, what do you do online? I'm, blah, blah, blah. I'm tired of working my job. And like I said before, 99.9% do nothing about it. But this guy actually did something about it. And this wasn't that long ago. It was like 3 or 4 months ago. And he's working in a steel mill outside in all weather conditions, whether it's rainy, snowy, hot, doesn't matter. He's outside working. And when I found out what he was making, and he's a single dad too, I found out he was making $3,200 a month, and $600 of that was going towards health insurance. It's like, what? I don't even know how you live. I mean, it's just like, I was like, oh, dude, I'm like, we got to get you something. He has zero technical skills. So you need to do this. So I give him step by step. We would get on the phone like once every 2 weeks, but it's basically just interacting through Facebook chats. And now he's growing his business. This is just this week. This is Monday through Friday. Monday through Fridays this week. He's in the U.S. 4,563. Now, about 35% of this, or about 1,600 so far, is pure profit after all our expenses and everything. By the end of this week, he'll be up to $2,000+ profit. And this is every single week. He's well exceeded his other income, and he does this full time. He films every day a little vlog that's maybe a couple minutes, but it shows exactly what he's doing. He just does a couple hours at it, exactly what he buys, everything, and he also posts every single day his profits, his total gross and his profits every day. And this has been going on since day one. So there's this entire, I don't know, 3 or 4 months history of it, and you can see how he's gone from his very first sale to last week, and he filmed the damn thing, okay? Last week he walked into his steel mill and quit his goddamn job, right? I mean, that's awesome. And I think that's what most of us on this call want to do, is we want, a job is modern day enslavement. So anyways, those are the 3 different aspects of Callzu. You got the Callzu SEO, Callzu ads, Callzu ecom on that end of it. And as a Callzu member, you have to be a current subscribing Callzu member. You can get access to any one of these courses that you're not currently in between a 70 and 90% discount. You just have to contact our support desk, support@kallzu.com. They need to verify that your current account is valid, and then they'll send you a password protected link if you want to get into any of these courses. I think that ecom is perfect for somebody. Ecom's impossible to fail at. It's like, because you don't need to have, it's not white label, all that. He just goes out with his phone, an app in his phone. He goes out to stores, scans items, and the app tells him, is this going to be profitable or not? It's a no-brainer. Yes? And he buys as many as the store will allow him. Okay? And his last 2 weeks, Amazon paycheck was $8,000. He's making well over $10,000 profit. He's so busy right now, he just hired his first employee. Okay, this is 4 months ago that he's working outside as a steel mill worker, making $3,200 at the end of a month, working 12 to 14-hour days. It's ridiculous. And a huge chunk of that, like 20% of it, is taken away from the government for the Obamacare. It's just outrageous. This is perfect for somebody. You're going to need a car. You're going to need a smartphone. It only takes about 2 to 10 hours a week on that end of it. Anyways, okay. So, boom, 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 boom. Contact support if you're interested. So let's move on here. So, let me grab a quick drink of water here. Clear my throat. Alrighty. So we've all heard that, work harder. But let me ask you something on here. Would you ask a single mother to work harder? I grew up in a household where it was a single mother who raised me. And I'm telling you, when I was a younger child, I never saw my mom. I came home from school, and guess what? I fixed my own dinner at home alone because she was still at work. Okay? Weekends, she worked 2 jobs, so she worked on the weekend. I never saw my mom. My mom lost one of her jobs, and we were always just literally paycheck to paycheck, hand to mouth. That one day my mother came to me. She lost one of her jobs. She's still working another full-time job, mind you, and she said, "Look, within the next couple of days," she said, "the sheriff's department is going to come here, and when they do, I just need you to collect 1 box of toys, your absolute favorite toys, and then we have to leave the home." That day came, and we ended up, and for 2 years, we were homeless. 2 years, we lived in and out of shelters, in and out of churches. Many nights in the cold, we slept outside, like so cold that it's like I was always the first one, the first kid at school. It's like I was there before the janitors came to open it up. No buses, nothing. I was the first person there. You know why? Because it was too freaking cold sleeping outside, and I was hungry. And my first meal of the day was breakfast, free at school. So you can't tell a single mother to work harder. That advice is baloney. Okay, that's absolute baloney. You can't tell somebody who is digging out of the trash, and a lot of people do this all over the world, millions of people. This is how they make their living. What are you going to tell them? Work harder? Dig more trashes? No, it makes absolutely no sense. That's not the key, and you can't tell yourself to work harder. Look, you have to learn to leverage other tools and other systems. Leverage, okay? And if you can leverage and you got the right focal point, you can move mountains, you can move the earth, okay? I want to share with you and talk about leverage. What is leverage? So what can you leverage? Because just going out there and just blindly working hard, that's baloney, okay? And that falls into the whole thing that's really popular right now, like the hustle stuff. Yeah, you got to work hard, but you got to leverage. You got to be smart. You can't just be like working yourself to death. And what I'm definitely not talking about is the 4-hour work week stuff. Okay, that's baloney too. Okay, so here's some things you can use as a leverage, as a crowbar, as a fulcrum point. Follow a proven business models. You know, like kallzu. Okay. Leverage others. Okay, leveraging other people's talent. I'm going to go into that in just a second in more detail. And look, I want you to realize something, and it might be the first time you've ever heard this, but ultimately, your job is not to do backlinks. It's not to create content. It's not to build websites. It's not to do any of that stuff. Please don't confuse that statement with, oh, okay, what you mean is just hire a VA, give them a program, and then they're going to run it for me, and I'm going to be sipping margaritas, somewhere in the Bahamas. That's a bunch of baloney as well, okay? Look, your job right now is to create systems and jobs. Systems to train other people to do what you're doing. So you first have to learn. You have to learn the step-by-step process in your business. You got to learn it, and you got to do it, and then you create systems to teach other people how to do it. And then I'll go into a little bit more detail with this in here. There's 2 really, really important coaching calls. Replays. You can find them in the members area in the kallzu SEO, by the way. And it's a 2-part series. It's March 31st and April 8th. By the way, all the coaching calls I do are worth going back. A lot of people ask, "Oh, if I had to watch any of them, which one?" All of them. I put everything I have in all the calls, so there's no fluff in any of them. But March 31st, April 8th, a step-by process on how to build your dream team. Look, whatever sports you're into, think of if you could, in an imaginary world, wave a magic wand and take all of the best players from the past and the present and build your dream team. Build the best of the best basketball team, the best of the best baseball team, the best of the best soccer team, whatever it is. What would you build? Who would you put together? Who would you have in each position? That's exactly how you want to build your business. And your business is not to be doing the work, the direct functional work, the day-to-day stuff. That's not your job. If you stay in that position, you will never grow and leverage your business. You have removed the fulcrum point. You have removed any lever. At that point, there's no lever. What you are at that point is not an entrepreneur, although you might call yourself one. What you are is an underpaid, overworked, self-employed individual who's probably working 80, 90 hours a week and making minimum wage or a little bit better per hour and calling themselves an entrepreneur. No, you're not. Because you're just out there just doing it all yourself. You need to grab a lever, find a fulcrum point, and the longest lever that you possibly can so that you can leverage off of the use of others and other tools that are out there. Look, you need to create, when I say systems, I mean training. When I think of systems, I think of McDonald's. When I think of McDonald's, it's McDonaldize it. McDonaldize your business. Start thinking that way right now. It doesn't happen overnight. Start thinking about that. How can I take this task that I'm learning right now, and how can I create a detailed, systemized plan with tests at the end, okay, so that someone else can learn this, and I know that they're doing it to my satisfaction. Because understand, somebody that you hire will never, ever, ever care about your business as much as you, and they never will. So the number one, there's so many rookie mistakes when hiring. I know because I made them all. First 2 years I'm hiring people. I'm hiring and firing people at the rate of 5 to 10 a month. I'm going insane. I'm thinking that the entire world is just stupid. I'm just like, this is just so stupid. How can everyone be so dumb? It wasn't everyone. It was me. It was me because I was making the number one rookie mistakes in the world. Just like a recent support ticket, and I do review over support tickets. Not all of them, but I review enough to get a pulse of the company and where we are and the quality that we're providing. But this one drew my attention. It was last week. Someone wrote in saying, I just hired a couple of VAs. They, I don't know, they got a hold of his passwords and ended up, doing something wrong, and so he had to fire him. And he asked me, or my company, do we have any VAs for hire? And no, we don't. But I really related to that person because I struggled with that for 2 years. 2 years I was just upset and angry that the rest of the world is so freaking stupid that they can't follow my directions. Well, guess what? My directions sucked. They were horrible directions, horrible training, no guidelines, no systems in place. And I had the complete wrong assumptions. I had assumptions that everyone else was going to care at least as much as me and had common sense. They don't. Guess what? Here's a reality and a wake-up for you. And this is $1 million advice. I would have paid somebody millions of dollars for this advice I'm going to give you right now. And that is, I also just recently saw this too. Actually, just the other day, friend of mine recently opened a business. Went through a pretty decent vetting process of hiring somebody. And they just hired him, and the person just seems like a miracle. They just seem like the best person in the world. And I remember the person calling me up and just saying, man, this is so great. I'm so happy right now. I hired like the best person ever, blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking to myself, you are such a fucking rookie. You are such a rookie. You have no clue. Guess what? Nobody in the world, no matter how well you think they're going to do, gives a crap about your business. And I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just reality. So how do you overcome this stuff? How do you manage this? How does somebody who opens up a Starbucks, and I forget the owner of Starbucks eludes me, but anyways, how did he do it? How did he ensure that no matter where you go, whether it's in Barcelona, whether it's in London, whether it's in Miami or in Costa Rica, the Starbucks that you go to, it's all the same. All the employees kind of have the same kind of personality, the same demeanor towards you. It's just consistent wherever you go. The pastries are all the same. The coffee tastes the same. How do they do that? They've McDonaldized it. And you need to McDonaldize your work as well. And you will never break free from the shackles of being a solopreneur. A solopreneur is someone who just basically is an underpaid, overworked employee of their own business. How do you break free from that? You're going to want to build your dream team. Go back and watch the March 31st, April 8th coaching calls right away. Whether you think you're ready for it or not, whether you think, oh, I don't have any money to do that. No, you got to get that mindset in your mind now. You got to start preparing that. You know how long it takes to find one really good person if you've done the vetting process correctly? 4, 6, 8, 12, 3, 4 months to do. One single person. Okay? So you have to do this now. And when you find the right person, whether you can afford it or not, you'd better damn well hire them. And then that will motivate you to go out and find business to keep them busy. So mistakes, the big mistakes on here, all business owners make. And you don't have to make it because I've made them for you. Okay? First of all, you need to create the most detailed training you've ever imagined in your life. The most dummy-proof training, step-by-step guide, I cannot think for myself training. If this says this, then you do that. If this says no, then you go to this. You just step by step by step. Okay? And this is the key thing. That's number one. Then you have to have a test to test them on those skills. And then at least once or twice a week, just 5 minutes of your time, test. Ask questions directly to them. Each one of your major employees, ask them questions. So, if I've got somebody and they're in charge of my email marketing to my business customers, so my B2B email marketing to my business customers, I'll ask them, and that's all they do. That's their job title, okay? I'll say, so last week, what was our top opening subject line? What was the percentage? They better know that on the top of their head, man. Like clickety-click. That's what they do. Okay, great. You passed that question. So I'll get a little bit deeper question. I'll say, okay, all right, so we had the open rate, but which one had the highest click-through rate? Because click-through is all that matters. Which one had the highest click-through rate, and how did that compare to the difference in percentage of open rates from our number one subject line? They got to know a little bit deeper. Go a little bit deeper. This is their job. This is their training. They have to know these numbers. Okay, great. No problem. I'll go a little bit deeper. I'll say we did a couple of emails last week with some with images, some with what do they call them? GIFs, where they like a little image video that moves a little bit, and then none. Which of those three had the highest click-through rates? They better know all of those freaking questions and then some. If they don't answer those like bam, 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 we got some issues. And I guarantee you over just a little bit of time, these people will realize that they got to stay on top of the job, because guess what? If you give somebody 8 hours and whatever task you give them for that 8 hours, they will fill that entire 8 hours up with that task. If that's an hour task, they'll fill it up and make it 8 hours of work. They don't care. They're hourly, they're employees. It's a completely different mindset than a business owner. You have to understand this. It's a completely different reality. You've got to understand what you're doing here. It's like, I don't want to use that word, that sounds bad, but you've got to understand what this mindset is on here and how you have to herd it. You have to literally herd it like cats. Okay? And you can do this if you got the proper training and the mindset in place in the beginning, and then along the way you've got checks and balances. There's so many examples of people you and I know, very famous people, who did not take 5 minutes a week to ask key people 3 key questions about their job. You ever heard of a famous person going bankrupt? You're like, how did that happen? How about Michael Jackson? Michael Jackson was just a pure artist. He gave over his billion-dollar income industry to his brother and some kind of CPA. And he never asked them questions. Never. 5 minutes a week, ask them 3 questions. What? Well, you don't know this number? What? Well, we got to get back to this tomorrow then, right away, ASAP, or you're freaking fired. And he went bankrupt. You know that? Went bankrupt. There's many, many others who have done the same thing because they just don't come in and ask the questions. Some of the top CEOs of companies that have 3,000 and 5,000 employees all over the world will spend a certain amount of time per month or per quarter in every single department. They'll come in for one day, no matter how busy they are, no matter how big the corporation is, they'll come in one day out of a quarter and just sit in and actually take and do customer service calls. And they'll just observe everything that's going on. And you better believe they're asking a lot of questions to everybody. You got to ask questions. These are test questions. You got to do this. And guess what? Your top performing employees, back off on the questions. Don't ask them all the time. Once a week, once every 2 weeks. They start to screw up. They can't answer all 3 of those questions and get an A+. You come back and start drilling them once a week, twice a week. They start answering the questions correctly, back it off. Give them the freedom again on that, okay? And then once your company grows large enough on here, every year, every single year, you take your top 50% performers and you keep them and you give them a pay raise. You take your bottom 50% people and you fucking fire them and you replace them with somebody else. And you keep doing that every single year. That's more long term, okay? That's more, most people have never hired anybody, so I'm going off on a tangent there. So anyways, key points. Watch March 31st, April 8th, step by step, how to build your dream team. Even if you're thinking right now, you know, what are you talking about? I can barely even afford the subscription for the course. No, you cannot not afford to learn this right now. You have to learn how to leverage, because what you're doing right now is you're doing the work harder mindset. That ain't going to get you very far. And what's going to get you is really tired. Okay? Number 1 rookie mistakes on here, you have to create systems. You can't just hand over, say, here, learn this, do this. No. Also, if you want to also Google KPIs, key performance indicators, just KPIs, Chris Winters. and then Bangkok. KPI, Chris Winners, Bangkok. You'll find a YouTube video on there. People paid, each person paid $850, and it was filled with 500 plus people. They come listen to me talk about how I manage my employees with KPIs, key performance indicators. You can get it for free. Yeah, that's it for that. Just put that in your mind. If I can put that seed in you now, and you start every step you're doing now, you can start thinking like that. You can start McDonaldizing your business. You're going to rock and roll. I'm telling you, you're going to rock and roll. You're going to be able to build your dream team and manage your dream team. All right, case study updates. Where are we on this? Alrighty, so last week or whenever the last call was, I'm time. You know how some people have no depth perception with like their eyesight, and so they can't become pilots and stuff. They can't tell how far one object is from another. There's actually a lot of people like that. I'm the same way with time. I can't tell if something happened 6 months ago or 7 days ago. Anyways, I think it was last week or last call. I'm not quite sure. I shared with you my case study, not the niche. I shared my niche naively a few years ago, and it became the #1 most spam niche in Google. So I just don't share them anymore, and then it was just ruined. So, anyways, but I'm going to share with you the end results on here. So let me escape out of here, and let's take a look at where we are. There's been some surprising, not so surprising stuff on here. So this is it in the coaching calls on here, March 31st. Definitely want to do this on here. Are you the employee mindset, solopreneur, entrepreneur on here? Do that. I give you everything, job description examples on this, and then talk about KPIs. I can measure hiring them and stuff like this. This is really something you need to do. It doesn't matter. Look, when I started off talking about this coaching call, I was talking about, hey, there's a lot of good training out there, but they don't teach you how to like actually run and grow your business. I'm adding this to here because I really want to see you succeed. I don't want to see you become another solopreneur. Okay, solopreneur is good, better than a JOB, but man, you can just take it so much farther, especially if you just get started on the right step. Trust me, I know. I've been there, done it, screwed everything up, so that you don't have to. Where are we? Where is this? Okay, so we were down in San Diego. So let me grab San Diego and show you where we are. By the way, we've mapped this. This is like 200 hours of work in here. We've mapped out. So if you're going to go in Los Angeles, then you got to do all these green areas in here, and then you ask yourself, well, what are the zip codes? What are the area codes for these areas? They're all here, folks. They're all here. You just map them out, plug in your the way that we teach you how to spin the articles. Bam, you're done, and all these places will start ranking. That's the crazy thing. That's the top of that. So let me show you where the heck are we? We're in the San Diego area. Let me close this up. This one, hide this one. Okay, San Diego. Here we go. So I shared with you that it was San Diego. We're still on page 2, by the way. We were on page 2 last week. But all these green areas were on page 1. Not anywhere on the top, somewhere in the middle, somewhere on the bottom. We still don't have any backlinks to any of these outer cities. And so since then, we have moved our way north towards Los Angeles. And we actually have we have several sites here in these areas ranking, but we've got a client now for, I think it's Santa Monica or Inglewood. Let's take a look at that and see. Where is that? Here we go. Okay. So we've added Santa Monica right here with a client. So let's just do all time. And we started this not very aggressively, by the way. Here, let me just do all time. It kind of started slowly or busy doing other things in September, okay? We only have, now we have 3 backlinks going to our San Diego site. But this is our total on here, and in January, in the last 30 days. But what's interesting about this is what everyone else does. This is just San Diego. See, San Diego, the 23,000, San Diego only represents 4,000 because everywhere else we got is just the smaller cities. Okay? And that's why we do that. It's really important that you do the bigger cities and the smaller cities at the same time. So Santa Monica, which you've just added, it's not going to be anything great on here. Yeah, it's $28. All righty. Or actually $106 total. Right? How many leads have we got in? It's not that much. Okay, it's a new client. We give a lot of free leads away, blah, blah, blah. That's why it's so low to begin with. But that's how you get to see it. And it's going to increase more as we go along, as we get more clients and we move up. So it's just, step by step, day by day. You just keep marching along. And some people may look at this and go, well, this isn't very much money, blah, blah, blah. But you got to look at the whole U.S. This is just, we're looking at how many cities here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 400 more cities to go. Okay? So that's going to bring these numbers up, right? There's no magic here. It's not some magical niche. None of that stuff. It's just focus on work, day in and day out. You're going to get challenges. You're going to get obstacles, but you persevere and move forward, okay? You don't go, oh, the first person, well, no one here wants any niches, or, geez, we only get a few phone calls per month out of this smaller city. No one could possibly be interested in this. I mean, if you want to believe all that nonsense, then that's going to be your demise, your downfall. All righty, where are we with the slides? Kind of feel like I went on a tangent. That's last week's. So now I'm already lost with my slides. Hold on, I'm just looking for my slides. Let me do this. Maybe that's it. Nope. Don't need that. I have too many windows open here. Sorry about that, folks. I need to clean this up. I know I named it. Let me do this. Apologize for that. Here we go, right there. Alrighty, so there we are. So let's continue on here. All right, so case study updates, went over that. Pretty basic, there's nothing magical, or we're doing exactly what we show in the course, okay? So just do it. And for those of you who are in the stage where you haven't picked out your niche, go through the work in Module 1, then submit your final results to me. I'll personally look it over for you. And again, it's impossible for you to fail at that point. All righty. Is this what I wanted to be right now? No, I don't. I'm missing some stuff here. Okay. What I want to share with you is a couple things. Probably going to lose that again. That's okay. Is I want to go over a third source of backlinks. And you can get this from us. What you want to do is just find the really big, like the franchise site, the sites or sites in your niche that are in many, many cities in the States. Those are the best ones. And then send in the URL for that. And so this would be plumbing. This is Roto-Rooter, right? So Roto-Rooter is a fairly substantial site in a very competitive niche. So it's going to have a lot of backlinks to it. And you can submit to our support. And again, don't submit this for tiny sites. That's useless with this, like a site that has a few backlinks. The big major ones, okay? And then you're going to get like a list of like thousands of backlinks, because we'll send this report to you that I'm going to go over. So these are some of the backlinks. These are their number one backlinks on here, by the way. And while I'm doing this, I want you to notice that Roto-Rooter is, what kind of site is that? What's the niche? It's plumbing, right? Here's their number one backlinks on here. We're actually going to look at them on here. It has to do with society and crime, has nothing to do with plumbing. Home and family, nothing to do with plumbing. Game and gambling. This is actually a redirect. I'm not quite sure what kind of weird stuff they're doing with that on here. But here's some other ones on here. Let me just show you what they are. So we've got, what is this one? Site links info on here. So this is one of their links on here. And I haven't looked at these sites in advance. Alrighty, so they've got somewhere down here, they've got their own site listed on here. So this is very common, and there's no problem with this. You can take somewhere on the site here, you see how they list it down here? This is one of their top ranking sites. So somewhere on here is going to be Roto-Rooter, I promise you, and it's going to be, that's a do follow link. That's a no do follow free plugin for Firefox, by the way. They got Home Depot in here and stuff like that. So they got some plumbing supplies. Look at all of them, right? This is one of their main sites on here. Airbnb's on here and stuff. And so somewhere on here, you're going to sign up, log in. You're going to contact. These are for sale, guaranteed. So if you're in this niche, this would be a good backlink to have. Believe it or not, it would. Roto-Rooter's already proven it on here. Here's another one, search.talk.sports.com on here. And this one might be a free site. It might be a free site on here. You have to kind of investigate some of these. But you can see how they got the URLs down below here. Best plumbers, Wikipedia on here. Is it do follow or no? You know what? It doesn't matter if it's do follow or not. I just kind of like to know. The top ones do plumber. The pink is no follow. Whoops. It's no problem. I do not believe in the follow no follow. You want to have a mix of those. Here's another one of their main sites. Search for a business. There's some kind of business directory. This would be an easy one to get a free listing on here. On this end of it, you just have to do a little bit of investigation on here, kind of click through it and find out, how can you add your site to here, like add a new business. It's just that easy on that end of it. And this is do follow. Okay, so they've already done the work for you. It lifts up at one of their top most powerful backlinks on here. Here's another one, Smart Search Directory. Download, play free games, blah, blah, blah. Somewhere on here, you contact them, whatever, you find out how you can get your site listed on here. This is a third source. There's some more on here. What's this? Yeah, this was actually their number one most powerful link. Has zero to do with plumbing, folks. Zero. And somewhere on here, it said it was an image. So somewhere on here, there's an image on this page. See how there's posts on here? One of these images, if we click on it, it's going to be there. There it is, right there. See? Right there. It's just their image right on the side of it. So I guarantee you that they're paying for that spot. But it's a good link to do. And you might be surprised about how little it is. Again, these are other sources of backlinks on here. And one of the things I want to show you is that everyone thinks, only because they're told. They don't actually do the reverse engineering themselves or actually practice it in the real world. Everyone's just going by what some other so-called guru said, which is you got to have niche specific backlinks. You don't. Let me just continue to prove this point, okay? I'm not saying you don't need any. I'm just saying the vast majority does not have to be in of that at all. So this is actually, at least from my IP address, maybe from yours it'll be slightly different, but when I search for DUI attorney San Diego, this is the #1 site that shows up. I guarantee you that this site on here, just by ranking #1, or at least in the top 3 in San Diego for this term, easily brings them a couple $1 million of revenue per year, easily. So this site must have all of its backlinks related to law, right? No, it doesn't. Neither do you. So wake up to reality, folks. Here this is. This is Kent IDS. It's a learning. It's like a parent learning type channel. English learners, special education. You got it? So what do? This has an article that has to do with stop bullying, and somewhere in this article they've got a backlink to their site and something to do with bullying and law, and they've bridged the two subjects together. Man, they've done it to a lot of sites on here. It's in here. Trust me, folks, because I haven't looked at this page yet. Someone else prepared this for me, but it's look at all these outbound links. And that whole baloney story about like a page has a whole bunch of outbound links to it, like loses its power. That's nonsense as well. It's in here, trust me. I don't know where it is, but it's definitely in this article on here. These are their top ranking sites with the highest trust flow, everything, the highest authority on here. This has to do with, what is this? What? Paul Butterfield? Butterfield kills it on the signature tunes. Well, if you're sorry if I don't know who Paul Butterfield is, but this is where this DUI attorney has nothing to do with law, right? Where's their link? I don't know. We'll find it. Oh, there it is. Right there. DUI enforcement. It's not even contextual, folks. Not even contextual. They're ranking #1. Okay. Jared's story. This doesn't look like. Again, anti-bullying. So there's like bullying. There's some kind of connection they're making here between, and you need to learn these lessons. There's always a connection that you need to make, a bridge from the general topic of the site to yours. It could be the Jared story, and I haven't read this story. It probably sounds pretty sad, so I don't want to disrespect that or anything. But it could very easily be something like the Jared story. He, I don't know, he's taking a shower and he got second-degree burns because the hot water plumbing or something went askew, blah, 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 and you could tie it into a plumbing site, okay? You can bridge stories and other sites over that have nothing to do with your topic, and you can bridge them over. This is exactly what these folks are doing. And many, many others, when you start studying, just don't listen to what other people are telling you. Just go out and study the sites that are already ranking #1, okay? That's just, they're already doing it. They'll tell you, like this. What's another bridge you could do if you had to write a story for this on here? Jared's story on here was bullied and stuff like this. I don't know, you could do something like, hey, Jared's story, blah, I don't know, whatever it is, bullying, blah, blah, blah. He got hurt, da-da-da, so students are now getting, and so did Jared and some of his family members, they're getting anti-bullying tattoos. Visit tattoo shop, blah, blah, blah. You see how I just bridged that over to a tattoo niche? That's what I'm teaching you here is stuff no one ever teaching you. Okay, so this is another site. Obviously, look, USS Horn, America's finest cruiser. Okay, so this has something to do with, I don't know, Reunion, San Antonio. Okay, so this is some kind of military, Navy on here. Yeah, and somewhere on here there's a DUI link, which obviously has nothing to do with this, right?
Chris.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I just got a message. Someone was saying that they can't see your screen, so I figured I'd chime in and save the day.
Ah, cool. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Love you guys. This is
All
William.
right. Cool.
All right,
Thank
I'm
you
out.
so much, man. Yeah,
You're welcome.
on the replay, we will have all the screen on here. I appreciate that. So on here, look, we have right down here the cost of DUI. That's right here, DUI Attorney San Diego. That's their site. Has nothing to do with this. It's not even contextual, but it's one of their top ranking sites on that end of it. Here's another one of that. 5 great tips for learning French. This is a freaking French site. It has nothing to do with law, yet this is one of their top ranking backlinks on here. So let's take a look at where's their link. It may be off to the right or down at the bottom. Right here. This article is courtesy of San Diego DUI Attorney, providing experience and professional representing for those in San Diego. They just slipped this in. This is so awkward. But you know what? It works. Remember, they're ranking number 1. San Diego DUI Attorney on here. Okay, so let's come back to the slides. Not those slides. And we'll get into some, I think, questions and answers. I'll have to take a look at my slides and see where we are on here. Hang on one second. I got too many windows open. Yep, that's it right there. Bingo. Alrighty, so apologize for that, folks. Thank goodness for the replay, right? The replay will have all the images on it, but I think there's enough, and by the judging of the amount of people that are still on the call, there's a tremendous amount. The audio content was enough, so for now, but you can go back to the replay and see those, and you can also, we also have the slides available as well. Let me get into the questions and answer box. Bingo, bingo. Yep. Alrighty. So, did I cover everything I wanted to? I did. Alrighty. So, questions and answers. Let's do this. I'm going to scroll down the bottom and go through there. Alrighty. I'll just go from the bottom and start working my way up on here. You tested our imagination, and we use it to create slides. Okay, good. Tested imagination. I like that. Great attitude. When reviewing the new keyword research video, it says to use exact match. Yeah. Yes, it does. Can you start over? No, but you can watch the replay on here. Yeah, Jason, as far as with the keywords, exact match, non-exact match, all that kind of stuff, at the end of the day, my friend, and everyone else who's in the process of selecting a niche, there's only 2 things that matter, and nothing else does, trust me, nothing else. And then you have a 100% guaranteed backup. So it makes it impossible for you to fail. And that is, you'll take your final data and send it to me. I'll personally look it over, and I'll tell you everything. I'll tell you, look, this is totally messed up. I just did it. Someone just sent, I'm like, this is what you did wrong, but you got to start over. I'm sorry, but I don't want you to fail, but all the niches you picked are failures. Most of the people, it's not that way. But so that's your guaranteed not to fail, okay? So don't worry too much about the beginning process. Now, let me tell you, in the beginning process, the absolute most important thing. And everybody, no matter, I have 2, this is module 1, 2 videos in there. In the very beginning, I call them video zeros because they start before everything else. It's not video 1, it's video 0, A and B, and then towards the end, I have 2 more video 0 exercises. They are the absolute most important videos, and the absolute most important exercise you could possibly do in selecting a niche. And I emphasize this with great passion in the course, yet people like to ignore it, and they love just to do the numbers and the tools. That stuff is not going to give you anything close to the data in Intel that Video Zero exercises can give you. Video Zero exercises literally tell you everything. You could do nothing else. No keyword tool, nothing, Zippo. No trust flow, no nothing. No backlinks, throw all that stuff out. You do only Video Zero exercises, and you'll find the most profitable niches. It will tell you every keyword that you need to get without a keyword tool. I know people are like shocked, like, how is that possible? It is, just do the exercises. It will tell you the content. It will tell you everything you need to know about the niche. Sit back and think about this one concept for a minute. You take a seed main keyword for any niche, which I don't need, I and you need no keyword tool to tell you this. The most searched term is always just going to be the name of the service. Okay? It's like, duh, chiropractor. That's the search term that's going to get the most searches. Chiropractor. Dentist. That's the search term that's going to get the most. Car detailing. That's the search term that's going to get the most searches. Okay? Paintless dent repair. That's the keyword that's going to get the most searches. Guaranteed in every city. Okay? Windshield repair. Guaranteed that's going to get the most searches. Just take that one seed article word, just that one keyword that you can get 30,000 of those seed keyword tools from the Yellow Pages, online, from Yelp, and many of the other sources that I show in there. And you could never open up the keyword planner tool ever, ever, ever again. And you type that in plus 3 to 6 main cities. Larger cities. Car detailing, Phoenix. Open that up in a window. Open up a new window. Car detailing, San Diego. There's your second window. Open up a third window. Car detailing, LA. Car detailing, Miami. Car detailing, Boston. Car detailing, Chicago. You got it? Open up like 5 or 6 or 7 of those windows like that. Now open up each one. Guess what you have right before your eyes? You got the best of the best that Google loves. On every page, you got at least 10 sites ranking that have spent years and months perfecting their sites, their content, their keywords, everything. And they're right there for you to reverse engineer, which you only need your eyeballs to do. You need no tools to do it. Wake up, folks. No tools. Just open it up. You look and you go, oh, wow, they got service. Read their home pages. You'll start picking out their keywords immediately. Look at their services that they offer. They have services in there. Those are other keywords. Then you go back and you recycle their keywords again, same cities. Do all their keywords show up on one page? Or do they divide in it between 2 pages? No keyword planner tool in the world will tell you this stuff. How do they attract customers? Is it with price point? Is it with a phone number? Is it with fill out a form? Is it with all 3? They've already figured it out. So you don't have to. You just got to copy what they're doing. That's it. They tell you everything. Okay? So you could literally do Video Zero and never open up another stupid keyword planner, which I personally, for SEO, do not like. You just need to take the main keyword, the service, and start from there. But if you want to do the keyword planner tool, do it enough just to get a couple ideas, but then immediately go back to Video Zero exercises and justify whether those are the keyword tools that you want to use. And guess what? The keyword planner, before Google decided to turn it off unless you got an AdWords account, wasn't accurate then, and today with impressions it's not accurate today. But I can guarantee you that other business owners in their niches figured out which keywords are profitable, and you can figure them all out with Video Zero exercises. So, Jace, when you ask in here about the original, I didn't see that, it has changed. Get away from the keyword planner. Video Zero, Video Zero, Video Zero. All right. Video Zero is in kallzu SEO because you don't do this technique for AdWords, okay? You do not. This is for SEO. It's completely different than paid advertising on here. This is module 1. Where do you use Chris as a keyword planner for the business? All right. Keep going down here. Melissa writes on here, when we start using paid ads, we are doing pay-per-call, which is way cheaper than pay-per-click. Correct? You got that? So why is it so important to have such a low cost per click when we are selecting our niche in module 1? It's not on here. When you're in module 1, your main focus, Video Zero. 80%, 90% of your research time. The remaining is just the keyword planner tool in any capacity you can get it. And everything else you can frankly ignore. Yes, correct. I guess I should have read that out. Okay, so is the step-by-step sequence for the master domain site as follows. Start with one smaller city in a state. After doing after doing blog pages and service pages, no. No. Okay, so let me read through these and then tell you exactly what you need to do. And I made a post about this in the Facebook group. It's about the GPS. When you come to a new city, you just come to the new city and you're going to go see a new museum, or maybe you came to watch a sporting event. You just drive around aimlessly asking people, hey, do you know where this is or that is? Because you'll eventually get there, right? No. You just log into your phone and you get on Google Maps and you use your GPS and it tells you exactly how to get there, so you are local and you've been there 10,000 times before. And you'll get there really super fast. The same with this course. You just follow the guidelines in the course. That's your GPS. So let me just clarify this. And the person who wrote this, I'm not coming down hard on you in particular. Everybody makes this kind of mistake. So the step-by-step sequence for the Mastermind Insight. Number 1, start with one smaller city and state after doing some blog pages and service pages. Step 2, get 2 to 5 backlinks for that city page. Wait for a top 10 listing or better. Do the main largest city in the state. Wait for top 10 listing or better. Go and do 3 to 4 cities per month. No need to wait. Question mark. Well, that's step 3. Okay, so this is your process. And you're seeing it unravel as I'm doing the live case study in front of you. But it's super simple, and I went over this in the very beginning of February 5th coaching call. Step 1, select your niche. Step 2, have me personally go over your top niche selections, give you some feedback on those. Now you got your niche selected. No red flags. You know it's not going to be a waste of time. That's step 1. That's the big step 1. Step 2, now that you know your niche, you're going to create the best seed article for a home page that you possibly can, 800 to 1,000 words. The best of the best. You're either at that point going to generate 300 to 400 of those pages the way that we teach you how to do it, either yourself or we have a referral which we get, which we are not monetarily reimbursed in any way possible. Either way, just get it done. Don't do it 1Z, 2Z at a time. Just freaking pump out 3, 4, 500 of those things. Like, right, you get a whole stack of them, like a big, huge stack of paper. Then, inside the modules, you're going to come in there and you're going to take a larger city. Any larger city you want to start with, it doesn't matter. Don't look at competitive rates or any of that stuff. Competition does not matter. Take whatever city and all the surrounding cities, exactly how we've mapped out in Module 3 under Video 7A. Large city and small city all at once. You have a newer site, so you're only going to do 1 to 2 backlinks per major city. So in the San Diego area and the 6 or 8 cities around there that we're ranking in on page 1, we've only sent 3 total backlinks since September to San Diego. That's it. And now we're moving northern up into the LA and the surrounding areas. We have other smaller surrounding areas that are ranking on page 1, which they'll do in 1 or 2 weeks with no backlinks at all, if you follow the directions that we give you. And we'll start getting clients for those. We got one for Santa Monica. And we're just going to keep moving our way up and then across the United States. You can start in California. You can start anywhere you want. It doesn't matter. And every single week, all you're doing is 1 to 3 major large cities with all the surrounding cities at the same time per month, depending on the pace you want to take. And then 1 to 2 backlinks only to the major cities per month when you're starting out. Let that site age. Let it get old for a little bit. Google doesn't like new sites. Google hates new sites. Okay? Google wants to know that you're not just fresh off the turnip truck. Okay? It's just like this part of the algorithm has gotten longer and longer over the years. That's guaranteed. So you just got to wait for that a little bit. You got to be patient. If you start just gunning it too fast, you're going to get penalized, guaranteed. But the nice thing about with our model is that because we're doing the smaller cities, there's no competition. You'll just because of the content and the amount of pages that will be growing on your site, you'll just start ranking on page 1 or 2, and then you'll naturally be getting traffic. And Google loves it when a site draws in traffic. Do you realize that? Google likes that way more than a backlink. They like it when it's like, whoa, you just drew people to the site, and they're hanging around your site. We like that. The people have voted. Now we like it too. Remember that. Seriously. That's the biggest lesson in SEO you can learn right there. So I forgot the steps. So we're moving along here. And you're just plugging along. And of course you got to front load the amount of private blog networks, Web 2.0s, and also you can order Majestic reports from your larger, major competition sites that have a lot of backlinks in them, and you can just start scraping and getting backlinks from those as well, because they're proven. They're already on page 1 in many cities, and these are their backlinks. They're already pre-approved. You don't even need to question them. It doesn't matter if it's a site about goldfish and then your DOI attorney is ranking page 1 in them. It doesn't matter. They're doing it. You can do it too. It's already proven. Don't listen to what the other people's telling you. Okay? Those are the steps. And then you're going to, once you got that little system humming along, it only takes a couple hours a week to do. Might as well start working on your second source of traffic and income. AdWords, okay, on that. So that's the steps. Super, super simple. If we have a clean, expired domain that would make a good money site, would you recommend using that or starting with a fresh domain? Would that age help get rolling? It could. But what you don't want to do, and Matt Cutts, there's some, I don't know, it's 1 or 2 years old video Matt Cutts doing, and he does his little Google little announcement things and takes questions and stuff. The guy's always talking sideways. It's unbelievable. But anyways, he's pretty clear, which he's not ever. He's always talking in circles. He's pretty clear about using age sites. If it's an age site and it always had the topic of plumbing, and then you're going to open up a plumbing site on it, yeah, you're going to get some benefit from that. But if that used to be a plumbing site and now you're going to open up a pet grooming site, might as well just go a brand new one because you're just wasting your money. Okay? Let me give you an example halfway in between. Let's say it was originally a plumbing site and now you're going to go into home remodeling. It's very similar because it's kind of the home, kind of fix-up, kind of home thing going on, plumbing, remodeling. It's very close. That's something I would go with an age domain. Let me end that question with the last comment on here, and that is, your success in this business is not going to depend on whether you have an age domain or not. Okay, it's not. Those are not the critical successful things. I have a lot of old home inspection domains. That's your niche. Okay, no problem. And you can save a lot of those too. So I talk about this in Module 7. And even though I spent some time kind of talking about how the DOI side and whatever the other site was on here, their backlinks pretty much had, the vast majority of them had absolutely nothing to do with their niche. My point there was not that you shouldn't have any relative niches in there. I think you should, and I talk about it in Module 7 when I talk about your super, I call them the super. So you're either a super Web 2.0s or a super private blog network is where you repurpose it, or you take one of your older sites on here that has to do with plumbing. You said you had 10 or so. And you take a couple of those and you just start adding content and just treating them like your next newborn children. And you just make them all about kind of plumbing or something very similar to it, and adding good content and images, and just even taking some backlinks that have to do with plumbing and sending them back there. And these sites are just clearly have been and will always be about plumbing. And use those just to send a couple of backlinks to it. If you've noticed the case studies that are done with the Mr. Plumber site, ranking in 300-400 cities in the U.S. and almost every city. Page 1 in Canada and the UK. It's a monstrous company. Remember, they're doing $100 million in revenue per month. When you go back and you look at their main backlinks, most of the cities have 0 backlinks, okay? But there are ones that have 1 or 2. 1 or 2 of them are just crummy. They got no trust flow, nothing. They're just a piece of junks. They have nothing to do with their site. Guess what they've done? They've taken their Canadian Mr. Plumber site and pointed a backlink to every one of their US.com Mr. Plumber sites on here, and that's the strongest backlink, the number 1. That's their super link. You need a super link, and you can create it with those sites, or you can repurpose a good blog and do the same thing with that. Okay, what time are we going? Okay, so we're about an hour and a half. That's usually when my throat gets really harsh. So we'll go just about 10, 15 more minutes here. If the niche I work in is electric, plumbing, and havoc, those are, you understand those are 3 completely different niches, right? Is it best to have one website with the 3 pages or 3 websites exclusive to their niche? Steve, I would just go for one and go deep. Plumbing itself is very general. Within plumbing, there's sub-niches within that. Video 0 exercises will tell you this, by the way. So within plumbing, you've got a whole nother sub-niche, which the majority of plumbing sites have as a separate page, and you can have as a whole separate site, emergency plumbing, emergency 24-hour plumbing. That's completely separate than just plumbing. And the havoc, or whatever you say it, HVAC, That's a whole nother separate page. If you do the video zero exercises within your niche, you'll discover that every plumbing site has that separate. They have the general plumbing. They have drainage as a separate page. And that whole separate page, a whole separate group of keywords around plug drains and stuff like this, and havoc. And then they'll have another one with just air conditioning. And they'll have another page instead of keywords just for heating. The plumbing has a tremendous amount. It's not just plumbing. They have if you really study the sites with Video Zero, you'll see that one site, one company will have 5 or 6 different pages dedicated to different sets of keywords. And those keywords can range from 3 to 7, sometimes 10 keywords, all having to do with emergency plumbing, air conditioning, heating, okay, hot water heaters, plug drain. Right? It's a competitive niche. They divide it up on here. Google likes specialization. If somebody types in emergency plumbing, but you have a general plumbing page which has all kinds of keywords about plumbing, and one of them happens to be, oh yeah, we do emergency plumbing too, who do you think Google's going to have show up? Your kind of general kind of site, or another site that is all about plumbing, has more content, but they have one page completely dedicated to emergency plumbing. Emergency plumbing. Electric, you need to do a lot of Video Zero exercises in that, and don't get, there's particular keywords that people make mistakes with all the time, and that is plumber near me, electrician near me, electrician company, plumber companies, electrician contractors. Do Video Zero exercises and ask yourself honestly after 5 or 6 cities, which ones are above the fold? Let's take something like plumbers or electricians near me. What does that mean? And what does Google want to give back to you? Because, you and I got to admit, Google can be kind of spooky at giving you results. Sometimes it's like, I'm just thinking about something, and it's like I'm halfway typing through it, and Google finishes it for me. With the suggestion down below, I'm like, whoa, how did you know that? Somehow they're reading through my emails, they're seeing keywords in here, and they're figuring out possibilities of what I might be looking for, okay? The point is this, Google ain't stupid. It's not dumb at all. So when you look at it and you look on your keyword tool, which is retarded, okay, this is why that tool is so retarded for SEO, and Video Zero is what you're going to use to succeed in this business. Somebody goes, oh, electrician near me gets this many searches. Wow, isn't that a great keyword term? But when someone types that in, what does Google want to give them? We're way beyond the days of 6, 7, 8, 9 years ago when you could just start typing in keyword after keyword and stuff, and you'd be ranking number 1. We are so beyond those days. So don't treat these days like 10 years ago, okay? This is not near me. Do you think you can rank for electricians near me and just put electricians near me a couple of times and 1 or 2% in your article and rank for that? Are you joking me? Come on. How does Google figure that out? These are the same people that decided they're going to freaking map and photograph the entire earth. And you think you can hack that keyword? Please, have a little respect for them. Come on. It's ridiculous, people. Wake up. Electricians near me. If I'm sitting wherever my IP address, it's based on your IP address, folks. That's what it is, right? Okay? If I'm sitting, not in Phoenix, but I'm sitting in, Fountain Hills. Fountain Hills, Arizona, which if someone asked you where you lived and they lived in Fountain Hills, Arizona, they'd probably just say Phoenix, okay? When they have to fly somewhere, they go to the Phoenix airport, right? It's one of these suburban areas. But when somebody from Fountain Hills types into their search engine in Google, electrician nears me, it's going to show other electricians that are physically next to you. You can't hack that, people. Okay? So I cover this in the course, but I still people coming with it day in and day out. Oh, wow, look at this. Look how many searches it gets. Yeah, it gets a lot of searches, but it doesn't mean you can rank for it. Okay? How about the other popular one? Okay? Electrician companies. Think about that for a second, folks. Really think about that. If you're Google, right, and one of your end users types in electrician companies or plumber companies, what do you think they're going to do? They're not going to go to your site because you've, put in your meta tags and you've got a 2% keyword density of plumber companies, and do you think you're going to rank for that? No. It's way smarter than that. It's going to take their IP address, and it's going to take third-party sites that list companies and give it to them as their top choices. Does that make sense? All right. So don't be, Google's one of the most powerful, life-changing companies in history, more so than the printing press. And they hire some of the smartest people, and they're constantly improving their algorithm to give what? The best possible results. Alrighty, let's continue down here. Artificial intelligence, blah, 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 blah. Excellent webinar. One of the Winter Classics. Love it. Thank you. Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. That's a good note to end on. We've got almost 2 hours here on a Sunday afternoon, evening. I think we've added enough stuff here to think about, and definitely to add to your business a lot of value. That's the end goal here of these coaching calls, is to add value to your business to make it grow. To get beyond, yes, we get in the nitty gritty. Yes, we get into the tactical stuff, but you have to have an overall game plan, and you have to be able to move from the mindset that got you where you are today. There's a particular mindset, okay, that got you to where you are today. That's a direct reflection of your bank account. It's a direct reflection of the home, the neighborhood, the friends you have, and everything. And we have to reset that stuff. And so it's my goal and my intent to come in here and share some of those things with you, along with the tactical stuff. And I think the two combined together, and your applied work and effort, and 110% ability to never give up and believe in yourself and believe in the process, it's going to create a winning combination. There's one thing I did want to share with everybody. This would be a great way to end the call, if I can find it on here. Because, let's see here. This is actually really cool. And let me just see, go to right. It's on my feed on here. This is cool, so just hang out for a second. It would have been a good way to start the call. It's a good way to end it as well, as my extremely slow internet refreshes the page. And we go here, and this is, hopefully it'll show up right away. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is, this is random today. This is actually just a few hours ago. Let me just show you. So this particular student on here, I just gave him a big shout out. He's in Mexico right now. And long story short, you can go in and read it if you want. But he followed the course. He also followed the intermittent fasting that I do, because I do intermittent fasting because it sharpens the brain and allows you to work more efficiently throughout the day. Plus, there's enormous health benefits to it too. Okay, and you also happen to lose a lot of fat while not being hungry too. That's just a side effect, which a lot of people focus on. But my focus is just how do I perform better on the job? How do I make the most out of every minute of every day? Intermittent fasting is the way to do it. So he talked about that and how he's done that, how he's lost 29 pounds in 6 months, eating basically whatever he wants during a particular hour when doing there. And he's out, where is he? He's just a digital nomad now. He's in Mexico on that. He left LA in 2016 on the 28th of July. So I'm going to see if I can't get him on a call, maybe the next coaching call, and just have him talk about his experiences. He's not going to tell you anything probably different or new, but sometimes it's just good to hear it from someone else that, hey, I did it, and this is my story and journey to motivate you. So that's it. My name is Chris Winters, and I will talk to you on the next coaching call. Take care. Bye-bye.